So Google Chrome, as of July, will be stating whether your website is secured or not. I'm going to be dealing with a few parts of information that you should actually be thinking about, but first, my name is Steve Smith. This is TQA Weekly. All of my websites are HTTPS only, and my newer websites also use full encryption on the databases. That being said, let's talk about why Google Chrome is stating whether websites are secured or not, the misnomers related to that, and of course, what you get as a benefit from using HTTPS over HTTP as well. So first of all, the primary purpose of HTTPS prefixed websites is to demonstrate that they are secured, that you can send your payment information to them, and nobody will intercept this information. Originally, websites like even Amazon use the HTTPS prefix only on pages such as where your payment information went, so that those payment information being sent through them was secured. The rest of the website was actually generally viewable from the public, which meant, though, that your session cookie was also running over HTTP unsecured internet, which, by the way, was a problem. That problem, which also existed for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and a whole bunch of other places, was actually demonstrated as being a fairly big hole in security once Wi-Fi hotspots were a thing by the Firesheep add-on that's applied to Firefox. And when that started being a thing and session hijacking started to occur, big companies like Facebook and Twitter allowed users to switch over to the encrypted, secured internet as opposed to the public internet voluntarily. And then eventually, with so much more wisdom, decided that everybody had to use it, which is actually a much better idea than having it turned off by default. Then, of course, browsers have always had a little lock icon, but they started making it more clear that the websites were also secured. And also, SSL certificate companies started giving variations of SSL certificates, not just the ones saying that the website is secure, but even those that said that the website is actually legitimately belonging to a business or whatever. But what it comes down to is, website is secured, you're A-okay. Website has a green banner or green text, they have more money than the other users and more resources. That's basically what it comes down to, because at the end of the day, they have the same level of security anyway. It doesn't change anything. So that being put out of the way, there's also the way that these companies are forcing people to be using HTTPS prefixed websites, which is, by the way, by making sure that they don't rank as high in search engines. Google does this. Google actually will rank your website lower if it doesn't have HTTPS, if it's not mobile friendly, and a whole bunch of other things. So that is one of the reasons why people actually move towards these HTTPS websites instead of the public ones. But then there's other reasons why. Because the packets can't be spied on. If they can't be spied on, nobody knows what you're looking at. They only know where it came from. If it's a public website, obviously they can go and look themselves, and that defeats the point. But then again, there's the other point of, you can't get code injected into packets that are secured because they're, for all intensive purposes, encrypted. And by the way, that means that even your ISP can't inject code to annoy you on the screen. Then, of course, there's add-ons made for browsers like HTTPS Everywhere that allows you to have websites that have HTTPS enabled be forced into their HTTPS mode at all times. But then again, there's a few little caveats that I would like to point out before we are done with this episode. And it's, first of all, HTTPS enabled websites writing secured in the browser does not mean they are secure at all. It only means that the communication is secured. And we've seen it countless times that hackers have broken into SSL or HTTPS enabled websites and have gotten hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, millions of accounts records. We are still not learning that there is a difference between the HTTPS, which is communication only, and the backend of the website, meaning that for some reason, they should be writing that the communications between the websites are in fact secured. HTTPS websites should be in existence for websites that have forms on them, contact forms, accounts, that have things that they sell on them and whatever. Completely agree. But on that same line, websites that don't have comments, accounts, don't have things that they sell, or that just show information, don't really need to have SSL enabled, don't really need to have HTTPS at all, unless we start worrying about the fact that they can have malicious code injected into each of the packets and that you can be spied on. But then again, at the end of the day, that is generally up to you and, of course, the developer of that website. I just want to point out that while this is a good step in the right direction for them, it is not necessarily the full story of every single website. Good on them for writing that they're going to be more secured and proactive. They still need to show that the websites themselves are in fact secure. Like this episode if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, comment down why you disliked it, because it really doesn't help if you dislike it for no reason without telling me. And of course, share with those that you think can benefit from this episode. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or go to my website, tqaweekly.com, for everything else. And if you want to make this show better, go to patreon.com/tqaweekly and become a patron today. Patrons get these episodes 24 to 48 hours in advance of everyone else. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.